Good morning, everyone. Hopefully what I'm going to talk about for the next 10 minutes is really about helping provide an opportunity for awarding bodies, professional associations, and I think the assessment industry in general in increasing the number of opportunities for you to test. Because certainly in terms of where we think credentialing is going to go, is to move out of the regulated qualification space and start thinking about a whole career journey of recognition, which I think will be underpinned by e-assessment and the ability to be really agile and responsive. So hopefully, from what you'll see here, you'll see opportunity to think, where can we start to move into new areas, and how can testing hopefully play a part? Sitting Guilds has really decided to make a fairly significant investment in digital credentials, and I'll kind of come on to what I mean by that, is because for too long, I think too much emphasis has been put on funding education, 14 to 21, people getting qualifications, this age group, yet we are all more than our grades. Our probably richest development happens on the job, and too often people are locked within organisations or out of employment because they haven't got recognition for some really great experiences they have already that sit outside that kind of formal space. And DigitalMe is certainly trying to think in terms of how can we be that big picture machine for lots of organisations and individuals where we can surface, capture and communicate a whole load of achievements which shift the conversation between the employee and the employer or the new recruit or whoever that may be. And the way I want you to think about digital credentials is simply a format change. You know, a great album is a great album. It doesn't matter what format it sits on. It's the same with a credential, whether that's assessed by a test, observation, a judging panel, an interview, whatever that may be, that still sits as effectively IP. Just over time, digitization has helped us think differently about how we communicate that achievement. And we felt for too long how we communicate is set back in the 1800s, let alone in the 21st century. So we think credentialing really needs to move into that Web 2.0 world, you know, where everything is shareable, trackable, big data, analytics, and you're not going to do that PDFing certificates and sticking a few security measures inside them. So for me, when I talk about digital credentials, I talk about an evolution of how we communicate, not just different credentials. So paper certificates been around forever. You know, for Sitting Guilds, you know, a huge part of what we do is that logo in the top right-hand corner that conveys trust and confidence in the validity, reliability, and viability of what we've done. And we moved to e-certification, and we put out a PDF, and there's some digital security measures there. You can type a code in, and you can go to a web page to verify what someone's done. But using things like the Open Badge standard, which is now being adopted by IMS Global as the global certification standard moving forward for digital credentials, and there'll be more announced of that in the next couple of weeks, is just so much opportunity from what you can do once someone has been issued with that credential. And I think that's why it provides so much opportunity for everyone in this room to move into new spaces and to think beyond regulation and being tied down by government and funding into really untapping what employers are looking for in individuals. Because it isn't about big kind of linear qualifications, it's about continuous self-development and how you can incentivize and reward that as people move forward. So we've been exploring digital credentials, open badges for 3 or 4 years now, and that's why, you know, we did a number of pilots within the awarding body to kind of understand reaction, different audiences, different measures. And the thing, you know, we really say to people is it does 2 big things. The first is to greatly enhance the certification process. It is not like we will continue to issue qualifications and certificates and do open badges over here for informal and non-formal. It is one format to recognize everything. And because they're data rich, you can actually tell the difference through the data as opposed to thinking you have to have different formats for different achievements. But most importantly, because it's digital and the way it's managed, it just gives you the opportunity at a different cost base to recognize so many more things over time that you just could not do through alternative credentialing methods. And certainly what we'll be looking to do is think about a lifelong journey. how we can help schools, colleges, HE and those awarding bodies better recognise non-technical skills, those soft skills. I hate calling them soft skills because they're actually really hard skills that are really, really important. They need to be recognised and employers need to be able to understand them. So much learning and experience happens outside the school gates and it's neglected and ignored. And, you know, university applications are being driven by who you volunteered with as opposed to your academic grades or which school you went to. Yet there's still very little trust and confidence in those sorts of experiences. But the big opportunity for me sits once people are in employment. You know, I've been at Sitting Guilds 11 years. I have no recognition for working in sales, marketing, product, strategy, delivering some huge projects, having success. I haven't got anything on my CV except what I say I've done. Wouldn't it have been fantastic if my employer, the professional body I was associated with, had recognised that achievement and helped me build greater trust in what I'd done? And I think that sits for anyone at any level, both those locked out of employment, but we see a bigger issue of people being underemployed, people stuck in a job they hate, a job they want to do something different from, and how can we help them grab the opportunities and move out of that to have successful careers? So, for me, hugely popular already in the States. You know, some really big organisations, millions and millions of badges issued, over 8,000 organisations issuing in the States now. And it's starting to finally take off here in the UK. And what we're already starting to do in DigitalMe is we're recognising across all these different things. So it's kind of, rather than stop thinking about, you know, I've got a couple of achievements on my CV, to I present a data-rich profile of all the things that I'm about, that richer picture of an individual, which is passions, it's behaviours, it's your personality, it's the areas you've gained mastery and excellence in, and how you can communicate that in a simple, trusted, and confident way. And the way you do that is by building a unique online profile. And a lot of people have kind of got confused with this. It's like, well, you're trying to compete with LinkedIn, you're trying to create the online CV. Absolutely not. Think of this like a bank account. You have to store and manage your lifelong credentials somewhere. You need a trusted place from where you will decide to share, for which ones you'll put on your Facebook profile, share with your friends on Twitter, put onto your LinkedIn profile, put into a job application, share with your employer's HR systems. You need to manage those from one location. And that's certainly something we'll be doing and are doing. And what's great about that is a paper certificate says nothing about what you did and how you did it. It's got no evidence behind it. Behind a credential, you can lock all those things into the credential. The second one is you can share them, and you can do that in so many different ways, whether that's a direct link into your LinkedIn certification page, whether that's on Twitter and social media. And the power for the issuers of those credentials is they can track the visibility of their brand across the web. They can see who shared it, where they shared it, who viewed it. They can then drive web traffic back to their website. So if you're a course provider and your people who successfully completed your online course are sharing their credentials with their peers, who then click into them, you can directly remarket them back to your course for free. It's a fantastic marketing and brand awareness tool. And this is where, in the States, the unintended consequence of new technology wasn't designed like that. No one thought, this is a marketing tool. This is a great way that businesses are going to build an ROI on what they do. But that's where it's exploded, when people have cottoned on to their ability to get new people to see how achievements can drive their career forward, and how that then becomes almost gamified in terms of self-development. So it's not a case of I've done one and that's it. People get addicted to this thing, and they continue to drive more and more self-development. And certainly inside the big corporates who all want to move from top-down L&D, big LMS, here's a load of e-learning compliance, that's going to solve our training and development issues. It always has to be self-development, and digital credentials and their ability to be earner-driven as opposed to top-down, organisational-driven is something that's kind of really taken forward. And, you know, it's something that certainly I know colleges and universities are very interested in. You can run your alumni from this. You keep a relationship with people you've issued credentials to beyond your organisation. You know, there's federated identity and profiles, so your email address changes, it doesn't matter. Your social media links are in there. You can continually keep relationships with members and non-members pre-signing up to your organisation and post. I think that's quite interesting. So what DigitalMe really is about is helping people to surface and capture more things. So not just kind of formal, traditional, vocational qualification type achievements. But most importantly, we're there to help shift the conversation between the employer and the employee or the recruit or whoever that may be in terms of how they can communicate their achievements to unlock more opportunities. So hopefully I still think, you know, for all the organisations I've heard speak today, there's huge opportunity, I think, in exploring how alternative forms of credentials can actually drive increased volumes in your qualifications or assessments. And certainly, I think, for online platforms, there has to be trust and confidence in the outcome. So the testing method and the assessment method still needs to be the same. It's just we can hopefully do it in more and different places. Thank you.